Hey guys, I just wanted to do a quick video going over my thoughts and impressions of Sony's conference that they had, geez, what was it, like yesterday I think? This past Wednesday, where they basically announced the PS4 and, well, they didn't show off the system itself, but they did talk a lot about it. The general impression of a lot of people on YouTube and all over the internet is pretty negative. And I gotta say, overall, I wasn't too impressed with it. You can tell like a lot of the big things they wanted to share, they're going to be sharing at E3. E3 this year is going to be really fucking exciting. I can't wait for E3 this year. With that said, they did show off some cool things at this conference. I'll go into a bit of it now. They started off the conference with basically talking about the architecture of the PS4 and how it's going to be a lot simpler. Like, they've got a bunch of developers talking about it, how it's a lot simpler to develop for, which is a good thing. So I don't think this next coming generation we're going to have, you know, the PS4 ports of multi-platform games being terrible compared to like the 360 or the next Xbox versions. In terms of specs, I can't remember really the exact specs. I know the big thing, I guess, was the 8 gigabytes of RAM. So it's a pretty big upgrade over the PS3. And from the games they showed, it's not going to be the big leap from, you know, the PS2 to the PS3 or the PS1 to the PS2. And I think everyone probably already knew that. We've come to a point where graphics have kind of almost reached a peak, I'd say. And I think still high-end PCs, of course, are going to have better graphics than these next-gen consoles. But that's, you know, you pay a lot for those high-end PCs. So I think graphically and spec-wise, the PS4 is looking pretty nice in terms of the specs. The controller they showed happened to look pretty similar. I want to say it pretty much was that prototype controller they were showing not too long ago. It's got a touchpad, a share button, which I'll talk about, a light bar. The analog sticks look a bit different. They're in the same place, but they look a bit different. I'm hoping they're a bit better. I've never really been a fan of these. I got this controller, the DualShock 3, which I actually like the DualShock 3. I think it's perfectly fine. I prefer the 360 controller, but these analog sticks, I've never been a big fan of these analog sticks, and the ones they have in the new controller, actually look different. The D-pad looks a bit different. These D-pads I actually kind of like, so I'm not sure how this new one's going to be, but it generally kind of looks the same. I'll probably put a picture up of what the controller looks like, although I'm sure most of you have probably already watched the conference, so this is kind of just my impressions of it. The controller looks good. A lot of people are kind of negative on it. I think it looks fine. The PS4, from what they've shown, it's like how the interface is cleaned up quite a bit, and they're trying to make this a big social console. A lot of it is to do with sharing and uploading gameplay sessions, videos, pictures, and whatnot. You know, there's probably going to be maybe Facebook on it. I don't know. A lot of those kind of social aspects. Now, you can kind of stream your games. Like, you can download your games and stream them at the same time. So you can download it and you're playing it while it's downloading in the background. I gotta admit, I'm kind of unimpressed with all this social stuff. A lot of this seems cool. One cool thing you can do is a spectating kind of feature where you can be playing a game and someone can join in your game. You can kind of host this session. People can watch you play. People can actually command you playing, apparently. That sounds really cool. There's also, you know, PS Vita remote play, kind of like what they've done with the Wii U, where you can play Wii U games on the Wii U gamepad. It looks like you'll be able to play PS4 games on the PS Vita, which is cool. You know, that's one reason why I'm looking at a Vita more now. So, you know, you can share your own video clips, stream your gameplay sessions, and this is all fine and dandy, and a lot of people will like this. It's pretty much useless for me. Like, my internet is shit, like, I'll be honest, and a lot of Canadian internet connections have bandwidth caps. I mean, a lot of the stuff they showed just is, like, it would destroy my bandwidth. I couldn't possibly do a lot of the stuff they've got, and I think a lot of these console, like, you know, Microsoft, Sony, they kind of don't realize that there's still a lot of people that either don't have internet at all or have slow internet speeds or internet bandwidth caps. And like for people like me, this kind of stuff is not going to be of much use. You know, I mean, this stuff is going to really put a hamper on my bandwidth limit. I mean, I have like I think we are at like 150 gigabytes a month bandwidth, and we still go over it a fairly good amount of time. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's ridiculous. So a lot of this stuff, even honestly, even if I had internet, I wouldn't be too impressed with it. I don't really care about social stuff, but some of it is cool if you're into that. I'm sure a lot of people will find a lot of this stuff cool, but for me, I will say though, a lot of this is designed to be instantaneous, so it's looking like you can actually look at your trophies instantly. One of the things I hate about the PS3 is this constant syncing and updating, and like that looks to be a thing of the past with the PS4. It looks to be, you know, a system that's looking to be accessible, so that's good. That said, I still see myself picking the next Xbox over the PS4, at least in the beginning, because I just prefer achievements over trophies. But yeah, that's pretty much about all they showed on the PS4. No release date, no pricing. They didn't show what it looks like, which is that's fine. Whatever. E3, we can leave that for E3. So overall, the PS4 itself, you know, I have to see more on it. I'm not completely sold on it. And I'll say too about this conference, a lot of it was really boring and dry. I found a lot of it kind of hard to sit through. But now let's talk about the games. The first game they showed was a game called Knack. It looks very Pixar-esque. It has like this robotic character that can kind of like break into pieces and kind of change his form to get through environments. It looks like inspired by like a Ratchet and Clank game or the Jak and Daxter games. It's kind of got that style to it. It's a new IP, which is great. But visually, I don't know. Visually, I wasn't blown away by it, and I don't know. The game didn't really do much for me. It just looked kind of dull. But I do have to admire the fact that it was a new IP, which the next game was not. The next game they showed was Killzone Shadowfall. This game looked graphically amazing. You know, I think PC games nowadays look as good as this game did, but unlike the other Killzone games, this game is actually colorful and not all brown and gray. At the same time, though, the gameplay they showed, at least they showed gameplay. I gotta admire that, too. All these other Killzone previews they've had in the past have all been like CGI cutscenes, which I hate when they do that. So this was actually gameplay, but it looked so generic. It looked the same as all the other Killzone games, which I can't stand the Killzone games. Hated the first one, absolutely hated the second one. Yeah, it looked pretty, but it controlled like crap. The third one, at least they fixed the controls, but I still found it generic. And it seems to have that same cover system, which I hate the cover system in those games. But from what they showed of gameplay, there was nothing new there. It was just, you know, a typical pretty-looking shooter that I really have no interest in. So that was kind of a disappointment. The next game was Drive Club. I guess it's like a team-based racing game. If you're into racing games, I got to admit this would look pretty cool. Visually, it's quite stunning. But as someone who's not into racing games pretty much at all, unless it's like the Burnout games, this didn't really pique my interest, really. Then another Infamous game, Infamous Second Son. I guess this one looks a bit different than the others, in fact, in the sense that there's a bunch of characters, and it looks very like anti-government, which is kind of interesting. Another game, though, I'm just not really interested in. I tried Infamous on the PS3. It just wasn't for me. I didn't care for that game. Maybe I should play the second one. I don't know. But again, Infamous, it didn't do much for me. And this is a common pattern with all the games they showed off. I just wasn't interested in a lot of them. The next thing they did, at least I'm pretty sure it was the next thing, Media Molecule, the makers of Little Big Planet, showed off like a tech demo thing with the PlayStation Move, which I know gets a lot of hate. And this was weird. They showed it. You basically could like create sculptures with it, like, and do these really artistic, creative things with it. And they were showing off really cool things you could do. And then they had this little like presentation, this rock band presentation that was ridiculously silly. I was laughing the whole time because it was corny as hell. And this thing, if you're a creative person, it looks pretty cool, I guess. I'm not. I'm not a very artistic or creative person, so this didn't really interest me whatsoever. But I will admit, it looks cool for someone that's into that kind of stuff, and it looks to be using the move in a pretty unique way. Next, David Cage came out, creator of Heavy Rain, which I really like Heavy Rain. And he came out with this really impressive tech demo. This was one of the more impressive things at the conference. Basically, it was like this head of an old man, and it was really detailed. Like apparently, like a huge polygon count in this, and it was kind of demonstrative of what could be done on the PS3. It was very impressive looking, but he didn't show a new game or anything like that. So very cool, but it could be one of those things where it looks all great, but it really couldn't be done on the PS4 maybe. I mean, I think a few years back there was like that Spider-Man character tech demo they had, which didn't look anywhere near as good as what it was supposed to on the PS3, but so there was that. Then the creator of Braid, I think his name is Jonathan Blow, came out with The Witness. Now, I haven't played Braid, but this game did not look for me at all. It's basically it takes place on this open world island where you're basically solving puzzles, and it's kind of based on like Epiphany, It's the way he described it sounded cool, and then when they showed the game, I was unimpressed. It looked like, I don't know, just exploring the island doing like sliding puzzles and connect the dot puzzles. I don't know, it looked pretty boring to me. Maybe that will turn out great anyways. I don't know. Visually it looked pretty nice, but I don't know, that game didn't really do anything for me. Then Capcom showed off like a tech demo type cinematic with a game, I think they called it Deep Down, which looked very Dark Souls Dragon Dogma-esque, which I want to say this a tech demo for like Dragon's Dogma 2. I mean, Deep Down, DD, Dragon's Dogma. It looked very similar to it. This was very impressive too visually, but it's a cutscene. I think like it's not showing any gameplay, which I've always hated that when they show things like that. There's no gameplay. Like I don't know. I always hate those kind of things. But in any case, it was actually one of the more interesting things I got to admit at the conference. And then Square Enix, this was a fucking joke. They came out, they showed a tech demo that they had shown way previous before, like this tech demo cinematic movie that's really boring and just, I don't know, like guns, people shooting guns and just crazy shit happening. Like, I didn't like it the first time I saw it. Like, it's impressive visually, yeah, but, like, I don't know, like, show a game. And then, of course, they brought this other guy out, Square Enix, to announce an announcement. They're like, okay, a new Final Fantasy game is coming, but wait for E3. And that was it. That's all Square Enix did. Like, seriously, like, Square Enix is such a joke now, I gotta say. But anyways, moving along. Then they showed more of Watch Dogs, which this was the best thing in the show. Just like this past E3, Watch Dogs was the best thing there, I thought. They showed new gameplay, and this game, I mean, god damn, it looks so good. I think people are worried that it's not going to be as dynamic as people are hoping. A lot of people are thinking it might be like really scripted, and I'm hoping it's not, but I don't know. Both times they've showed this game, it looks amazing. I can't wait to play it. I want to play it even more now after they showed the gameplay of this. And graphically, holy crap, this game's look amazing. But Watch Dogs, fantastic. The best thing they showed. Then they did... Blizzard came out and announced Diablo 3 for PS3 and PS4. And a lot of these games, like Watch Dogs and Killzone, actually, they announced after the conference that they're going to be PS4 launch titles. And Watch Dogs is going to be on like every platform, Wii U as well. But with Diablo 3, they announced it on PS3, PS4. I'd imagine this is also going to be on the next Xbox as well. Which, again, there wasn't much enthusiasm at the conference, and I can see why. This game came out quite a while ago. It got critically panned by fans of Diablo 1 and 2, and I can see why it's nowhere near as good as those two games. There is a bit of exciting news about this. There's actually couch co-op, like 4-player local co-op and 4-player online co-op for it, which that's actually cool. Honestly, I would have preferred Diablo 2. If they had announced maybe a Diablo trilogy or even just Diablo 2 and like had 4-player local or online co-op, I would have gone nuts. Like, that would have been awesome, but it's Diablo 3, the weakest in the trilogy. in any case, I'm actually kind of somewhat more interested in this than a lot of people are, just because of that four-player local co-op. Because Diablo 1 on the PlayStation has 2-player local co-op, and it's awesome, actually. So they had that, and finally, I'm pretty sure they closed off the show with Destiny, which they had already shown previous, and, you know, Watch Dogs was a game we had already known about, too. Destiny is actually shaping up to be pretty cool, actually. It looks to be like kind of Journey-esque in the sense that it's very co-op driven, and you can kind of take on, like, it's got a persistent online community. You can, like, take ships to explore different planets. You know, you're kind of trying to save humanity. I'm hoping the storytelling turns out good. Because I'll be honest, I know this is a strong opinion. People probably won't agree with me on this. I don't find the Halo universe or storylines interesting at all. I think they're really boring and kind of, I don't know, they just never did anything for me. So I'm hoping maybe the storyline of Destiny is going to be more interesting. That said, the gameplay they did show of Destiny looked pretty solid. And I'm definitely excited for that game. But that was pretty much it in terms of the Sony conference. I don't know, I was bored throughout most of it, unimpressed by a lot of the new games they showed off. You know what I mean? Watch Dogs was really the only game that made me excited, and when I was watching it, I was like, yes, awesome. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the Sony conference. Tell me what you thought of it. Did you like it? Did you hate it? And anyways, that's it, guys. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.